Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cultured Focus Magazine. Today, we are speaking with Tizzi Green, and she is a film director and producer, and she will be discussing her latest film project, Word Warriors 3. The film is meant to bring attention to the injustice and racism faced by the Black community. It takes the viewer through decades of social commentary, exploring the mistreatment of Black men over 60 years. Throughout the documentary, some of the world's leading poets are highlighted and present their unique perspectives on injustices and racism faced in the Black community. Word Warriors 3 suggests that using our words as a weapon versus guns or violence is the ultimate power. I must say, it's the most extraordinary, non-violent word riot to come to screen. So let's get started. Welcome, Tizzi.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We're pleased to have you. So I understand the film is coming out soon. So without
Yes, June 19th.
Too much away, tell us a little bit about it and what drew you to the film.
Well, I'm a poet first, so I consider myself a word warrior, wordsmith. That's what drew me to the project was one of the poets in the film, Pat's Justice, his poem "Innocent Criminal." Originally, the film was created around his story and his experience as a young Black man in America, which is what his poem "Innocent Criminal" is about. So that's what inspired me. It's been 7 years. It's been a 7-year journey. When we first started filming 7 years ago, within a few weeks, Trayvon Martin was murdered. So that kind of changed the direction of the film to get more stories of young Black men in America and their experiences. So yeah, within that 7 years, we've done the film festival circuit. We've gone to colleges and schools and partnered up with programs like Jack and Jill of America, with youth centers, the Alwood Junior Youth Center, colleges, like I said, different colleges, to show the film and then have a social justice panel and conversation after the film to spark the conversation, to provoke the change, So yeah, that's pretty much what inspired me in
Fantastic.
on this film. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what drew you to doing it in a documentary type style? What made you decide?
I wanted to, digging in and getting the research, I wanted the people to get to know the statistics and, some of the laws and disparities that we were facing, because if we don't know those numbers, we don't have a target. We can't focus on a specific target that we have to make the change on.
Exactly.
So being a documentary, it gave me the platform to actually share information.
Yeah. It's powerful. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Throughout the film, there are really some powerful performances.
Yes.
So the casting perspective, you mentioned starting with one and kind of growing from there. But what was the process? How did you determine who to include, which poets to include?
So, of course, Past Justice was number one.
Yes.
And I'm really good friends with, I've known Malcolm Jamal Warner for a long time. and
Okay.
since I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And I know him as a poet. Like, I know him as an actor, but like his character, like his personality, like he's a serious poet. Like he is poetry to me. Like his poetry is so powerful.
He's the
And
real.
yeah. So I knew I had to call Malcolm, because I knew that he would deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that his message in his poems would touch the people.
Yes.
So he was number 2 on my list.
Okay.
And Matthew Sutton, he's another poet in the film that I grew up with. My producing partner, Laya LaFlora, she reached out. Her mother, Shirley Bradley Price LaFlora, who's also in the film, is a poet laureate. So Shirley reached out to her circle of friends that were poets.
Yes.
And that was Amiri Baraka and Eugene Redman and Amina Baraka. And they were graciously blessed the film.
How blessed.
Yes. So I wanted to get the perspective of, as you could see in the film, the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
So in order to know where we're going, which is the young poets, I wanted them to, hear voices from the elders.
Yes.
So that's why how that came about.
Yes, there's a nice weaving of the old and the new into the relevance of present day. So that's very, very well done.
Thank you.
You can really tell your expertise shines through in that perspective. And from working with the poets themselves that participated in the film, was there anything unexpected or that surprised you during filming and working with them? Or any pleasant surprises? Mm-hmm.
I think the vulnerability surprised me. And that's how I knew that this film was going to be powerful, because it was so authentic.
Yes.
And I expressed myself like I didn't want anybody to hold back. Don't be politically correct.
Yes.
Don't hold back. If we would have been politically correct, the film wouldn't fit today.
No.
Because today everything is being exposed.
Exactly. That is true. That is true.
I think the vulnerability. The vulnerability of the poets really surprised me and made the film what it is.
Really? Yeah. Overall. Are there writers or poets that you wish you could have, that are not in the film, that you wish could have been in the film?
Honestly,
yes.
Maya Angelou was supposed to be in the film before she passed away. And things didn't work out. Because she wasn't well.
Yes.
But I wish that I would have had her in the film.
Yes. But hey, the poets you have, like you said,
are amazing.
And they don't hold back. And it really draws the viewer in. The power behind their performances. It's really a must-see film. Were there any poems from the film that keep coming to the forefront of your mind? I knew not to ask you to pick any favorites. So I thought, are there any, that keep coming to the forefront? And
really, they're all my favorites. Like, really. One that I can probably relate to the most is Daniel Beatty's Knock Knock poem.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, because I grew up in a single parent home with my mom. So that poem probably resonates the most with my spirit.
What do you think audiences will get from the film?
Well, what I would like for them to get is a healing. Just like Daniel Beatty's poem Knock Knock, it forced me to reflect on my own pain, my own old wounds with my relationship with my father. And it created a healing process.
Yes.
It forced me to forgive. And so that's what I would want people to take away from this film is everybody that's speaking the wisdom and through the poetry, there's gems. Everybody is dropping so many gems that we can take away to be a better human being, to pay more attention to the youth and be more involved in our communities, be a mentor, be an example for our youth, for the next person. And the youth, I'm hoping that they become inspired to continue to fight, to make change, to recognize that there are injustices, and recognize when they are experiencing systemic racism so that they can, attack it.
Yes.
And eliminate it.
Exactly. Well, what do you think makes artistic endeavors like writing and music helpful in dealing with injustices? Because I understand in reading your background that you also write music.
Yes. That's poetry and music. That's my first love. I used to turn my poems into songs. That's how I started doing music. Okay. Music is healing in every way. Yes. We, from the beginning of time, especially as a Black person, as a Black woman, it started with the drum. The frequency of the drum and music aligns with the frequency of the universe. So words, it was God's word that created this reality that we see. Words are powerful, music is powerful. You put the two together, you can't lose.
And in the film, there's reference to how words can be used to heal or hurt. It also speaks to the fact that only we can control our reactions to injustices, with the suggestion of using words versus our fists.
Or guns.
With the death of George Floyd and so many others recently, that concept of words over fists is very important within our community right now.
Very, very powerful. And, we speak life or death. Life or death is in the power of the tongue. So I think it's important that we are careful with choosing the words that we project. For instance, I don't chant, because that's something else that's in our DNA, chanting and music. I don't chant no justice, no peace. Because when you project those words, that's the reality that you're bringing to life. So I'd rather chant justice is peace.
Yes.
Because then you're creating that reality of peace and justice.
Yes.
I don't chant I can't breathe. I don't say I can't breathe, because
Mm-hmm.
I rather say I will breathe.
Yes.
Because see, then that eliminates the reality of not being able to breathe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I want people to take away from this film is knowing how powerful your words are, and being aware of what you say and how you say it,
Mm-hmm.
and the intent behind what you're saying, because you're breathing that into existence.
Exactly. Exactly. And I thought that was such a key point and powerful point in the film, because with the youth, as you spoke to earlier, the young kids growing up, and in the film, they speak about the music, the hip hop
Yes.
music, and the words, some of the language and
Yeah.
the objectification of women.
Yeah.
Here, the kids are hearing this, as you say in the film, from age coming out of the womb almost, but obviously,
In
to
the womb.
yes, all on up. And that, if you're hearing that day in and day out, before school, after school, sometimes on your ringtone, that can become your reality.
It is becoming
Mm-hmm.
their reality, our reality. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the vibration is everything. And I said in the womb, because if your parents
Mm-hmm.
are listening to certain music,
Mm-hmm.
then you're hearing that as well in the womb. And that's that certain vibration. You're coming into the world within that vibration already,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? So it's very important. And I'm not saying don't have fun and,
Yes.
you know, don't, I'm not bashing anybody's music. I'm just saying be responsible and
Mm.
take accountability, and know the impact that you're having on our reality.
Exactly, exactly. And because one of the things I want to touch on, you mentioned the lack of resources, the lack of education, and the lack of role models. So, to your point, it's one thing to listen to the music, and that if there's no role model or any balance to
There
counter
you go.
what the kids are hearing, teenagers into young adulthood, there's no role model to say, hey, there is a different way. This is
You
very important.
you just hit the nail on the head,
Mhm,
Taylor. You just hit the nail on the head. There is no balance.
mhm,
And in life, it's all about balance. so so that's why you're yeah. So that's why you're seeing
mhm,
the everything is off balance right now.
mhm.
Everything, the weather,
Yes.
the
Nick.
the everything, the weather, the home,
Mhm.
the person,
Yes.
the animals,
Yes.
we're all connected. So that's why it's important for us
Mhm,
to balance our energy
mhm, mhm.
before we totally destroy our planet and not have anywhere to live.
That's great. We're going.
Yeah,
Not to mention climate change and everything else.
all of that.
All of that.
All of that goes hand in hand. If
Mhm,
you're putting out negative,
mhm,
remember I said music is the most important
mhm,
frequency in the universe.
mhm.
It started with music, with the drum,
Yeah.
the
Mhm. Yes.
all of that. That's the balance. So if you're putting out negative music
Mhm.
and the frequency is off, what do
Yes.
you think it's going to do to the planet,
Yes. Yes.
to the weather,
Mhm.
to us?
Yes. Yes.
It's all connected. It all goes hand in hand. So we have to work individually and better ourselves.
So to that point, then do you think the onus is on us as a community versus what impact do you think the government has? Because obviously now there's this, push to have various initiatives and legislation around policing, and obviously much of that is needed. But as far as impacting the Black community, because it seems like there's a war on Black males in particular, as you do in the film. So what do you think that we can do as a Black community to help in that regard, to have tangible results, to really make a difference in the lives of the youth and young adults coming up?
So I think that is all important. With what's going on, there needs to be change within the government. But at the end of the day, it starts with us. It starts with the Black community. This is the rebirth. I believe that's what's taking place right now.
Great word.
It started with us, and it's going to start with us again.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I feel like individually we need to heal, and collectively we need to heal. And that goes back to, again, healing your innermost pain and anger that you have inside, forgiving yourself, forgiving whoever did what to you, forgiving whatever you've been holding on to that's been weighing you down individually, so that collectively we can do the same thing. Yes. And then we'll be able to work together and build together. Because right now, with the hurt, the pain, and anger, that breeds jealousy, envy, and the crab in the barrel mentality in the Black community.
Yes.
And we have to get rid of that. But the only way to get rid of that is by healing yourself. Because if you heal yourself, then you don't have, your ego is not feeding, you're not feeding your ego with the jealousy part and the envious part and the I have to be first and I have to be the leader and I have to be the one to shine. No, we have to work as a collective in order to make change, in order to make real change.
Exactly.
So it starts with us.
Well, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously the pandemic, the impact. Do you think that has helped, people regroup and look inward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think just like this movie is divine timing, I believe that I don't believe in coincidences.
Yes, absolutely.
And with this pandemic and the social injustices and with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, I look at them as we have to appreciate that they sacrificed their lives for us to live.
Yes, yes.
Literally. Whether they were conscious or not of what they were doing, that was because of the outcome. That was their purpose here, because of the global impact.
Exactly. Because to your point, I mean, there were others before them, Sandra Bland,
yes,
but it's all about timing.
It's all about timing. All of them sacrificed their lives for us to live, just like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Yes. They sacrificed their lives for us to live, for us to be free. So I think we have to, as a community, come together and, like I said, heal ourselves so that we can build our Black Wall Streets in every community, not just one place, every community.
And it stay up.
Because enough is enough. Like right now, you can see you're not burning this down.
No.
When we build, you're not burning this down.
No.
Because now we're stepping into our power of the knowing of who we are. And that's what we got to get back to, knowing and walking in the power of who we are.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
important.
Yes, and I hear more and more people of speaking to within the African American community supporting each other, you
Yes.
know, buying from other Black businesses,
We have to do that.
money within the community, as has been done in other communities.
Yes.
Quite
In
well.
the Jewish community, in the Asian community, we're
Yeah.
the only ones. We're the only ones. And that's because we let our ego get into play, and because we're conditioned to think that uh, uh, we're conditioned to think that, excuse my French, but house nigga, field nigga.
Mm-hmm,
We're
mm-hmm.
conditioned.
Yeah.
So we're, because of color, we think, oh, this person is better. No, we have to retrain our minds
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and become one again, because that's who we are.
And there were throughout the film with the performances and the poets speaking to that, you know,
Yes,
we are dependent on each other, and we have
yes,
to do a much better job about amongst ourselves, reaching out to each other and
yeah.
reaching back to pull the next brother or sister along.
It takes a village.
Yes, yes, as
It
you
takes a
mentioned
village.
as well.
And that's who we are. That's our power. Our power is unity and being a village. Our power is not being separate. Being separate is an illusion.
Realism, as you spoke
Yeah,
to. And many do not realize that.
yeah.
They don't know our history and where we come from or anything about Africa. You know,
And that's why this film exists.
yes,
That's why this film exists. So that we can create a platform for people to, if it's not all in the film, it will spark something. Go do the research and
yes,
learn
yes.
about your history.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I was thinking, oh, this is a must see also in schools. you know,
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've taken it to schools. We've taken it to schools and colleges and youth centers and have done panels, social justice panels after showing the film. So I want to continue to do that because we're already doing that. I want to continue to do that because it's important.
yes, yes, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, this is perfect. Even town hall,
Yeah.
Saturday, all of that. Okay, okay,
It
good.
sparked the conversation.
Yes, 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 that's perfect, perfect. And so, do you see the younger generation developing another art form or adding to this tradition of spoken word, um, as well as poetry, just in general? What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I think hip hop has taken on that form.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, I mean, hip hop is worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It's influencing every ethnicity, every
It does.
country, every culture. Like hip hop is that. That's why it's so important that these hip hop artists today, you know, be accountable for what they're saying and the type of music they're putting out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just as you speak to in the
Yeah.
film. Exactly. Exactly. It's interesting you mentioned that. Yes, every around the world, because having traveled internationally, as I'm sure you have as well, sometimes it's interesting to hear the hip hop being played louder than
And
so.
some people don't even know English, but they can recite a Tupac song,
Exactly.
you know? So that shows you how influential hip
Yes,
hop is.
yes, from Dubai to Rome to
Yeah,
Milan,
everywhere.
everywhere,
Everywhere.
Hong Kong, everywhere.
And hip hop is not just music. Hip hop is a culture. Hip hop is an art, you know? And that's why it's so important to cultivate that.
I think what I want to really hone in on with you is, are there tangible things? You mentioned, taking this film into schools and things of that nature and having open dialogues with the community. What are your suggestions? I don't want to leave our interview today without really honing down on either, one or two top things that you think that we really need to do as a community that are actionable, that we can, say, do in 6 months, a year,
Okay.
continue on.
I would suggest, first and foremost,
Mm-hmm.
If you're well established, or if you're not well established, but if you have children,
Mm-hmm.
become a mentor to
Yeah.
somebody else, to somebody else's
Mm-hmm.
child.
Mm-hmm.
Go find a youth center in your community and go volunteer.
Yeah.
Or find a church in your community and volunteer,
Mm-hmm.
or start a mentorship program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the time to start a mentorship program, find a young person to mentor,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's once a month.
Exactly.
Be that young kid's light for that time in that month.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that I would suggest that's very important that we should do is ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is very important. It's important to, whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, that's your purpose. That is your reason for being here.
Mm-hmm.
So take that purpose, take that gift, I don't care what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and start a LLC.
Yes. Yes.
Because that way we don't have to keep looking for seats at the table.
Yes. Yes.
We build our own table.
Mm-hmm.
And we invite
Yes.
to our table, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
We're giving people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're loving people.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So we have, again, just like hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
the Black community has to be the example of unity,
Mm-hmm.
love, and peace and power,
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to see that across the world.
Yes.
It starts with us.
Exactly. And exude that, put that out.
Yes.
Not just one side.
Absolutely. That's what it's gonna, our community will affect the world.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it starts with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Once we stop killing each other,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you,
yes,
we will stop getting killed by others.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Power.
We have to respect ourselves first.
Powerful message.
And that's real talk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
People making that connection.
Yes.
The film, will there be a sequel?
Well, so everybody always asks me, Word Warriors 3, is there a 1 and a 2? No. Okay. There's no 1 or a 2. Mm-hmm. It's the Word Warriors 3 was wordplay that I came up with. It's really Word Warriors to the third power. Mm-hmm. And so that 3 represents the Trinity. Uh-huh. That 3 represents the power of the word, mm-hmm. as the mind, the body, the soul. It's an exponent.
Yes.
So I want to do a spin-off series, mm-hmm. so that I can touch on other subjects and topics. Okay. And talk to different individuals from all walks of life. Mm-hmm. 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 That use their poems to heal. Yeah. Okay. That's the goal.
What do you think America will look like a year from now? There's a lot of turmoil going on right now. Yeah. As I said from the top, I think your film is perfect for this time. Yeah. It has such a powerful message.
What will America look like from now? Mm-hmm. Well, let me say this. I can speak and project to what I would want to see America look like a year from now.
Yes.
I want to see a lot more compassion
Mm-hmm.
from people of all colors.
Yes.
I want to see a lot more love.
Mm-hmm.
And if we bring that love and compassion, then we'll see policies and laws change. We'll see less incarceration,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but more mental health uh, places to help people in the community that struggle with mental health, rather than just sending them to jail.
Exactly.
Well, you know, so that's what I wish to see a year from now.
Where can audiences go to see your film and when?
So, Word Warriors to the Third Power is being released on June 19th. That's next Friday. And it happens to be Juneteenth.
Yes.
So I've been seeing people say, buy Black on Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want. I challenge every household to buy Word Warriors to the Third Power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And have a sit down, watch it together with your family, and have a discussion afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what I challenge to every household. Now you can go watch it you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on iTunes, Apple TV, and cable and satellite platforms on demand. And you can find it on Xbox and Google Play.
There you go. There you go.
Go to Amazon. Everybody goes to Amazon and iTunes. So just or click on demand on your cable and it'll be there. June 19th.
Perfect. 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 Well,
And I'm sorry, one more thing. If you want to follow what's going on with the film,
yes.
Our IG handle is majestic_9 films.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic for letting our viewers know that. And so what else do you have in the works? What other projects?
Ooh. Well, I'm a youth advocate. I work with the youth a lot. I run Bill Duke's Youth Media Camp.
Oh, okay.
With New York Film Academy.
Okay.
So we're getting ready to hopefully, get that going again since everything is starting to open back up. And I'm in development with a project over at Warner Brothers for the Michael Brown story. So, yeah, I mean, I have a few things coming up, a lot of things in development. I've been writing, doing a lot of writing. So, yeah, look out, world.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I love the film, and I highly recommend it to audiences, all audiences.
Yes, all audiences.
For everyone, not only within the African community, but globally. It has important messages for the community as a whole, as we are one and are interconnected, as you speak to, and as the film speaks to. So again, congratulations on the film and a job well done by you and the entire team. So thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me and creating the platform for us to discuss these types of films. And I'm really appreciative. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Take care.